Hello everyone, my name is Tim, and welcome to Tim Talks, the show that's only partially a show, but really it's just an excuse for me to talk to my very talented friends. And I have another one here with me today. She was the driving artistic force behind Rooster Teeth for a long time, and now she owns The Fort, her very own artistic studio/gallery here in Austin. Welcome, Griffon Ramsey. How you doing today?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Oh, not too bad. I am trying my best to stay warm.
It's freezing here, and no one
What
is prepared.
happened?
Yeah, and it's shocking because just the other weekend it was 90 degrees.
Right? I mean, literally just the other weekend. And then, like the weekend before that, it was 30. The weekend before that, it was 60. I don't get it. I came down here because I thought it was going to be some sort of constant. No.
I don't know why you moved here thinking that.
Fair enough. But yeah, like I said, so we have a lot to cover here. So normally I spend a little bit of time chit-chatting and doing small talk, but I kind of want to just dive right into it here.
Okay.
So how did you first get involved with Rooster Teeth?
Well, I met RoosterTeeth back when we all worked at the same tech support company in Austin. Well, I worked in San Marcos then. And so I ended up meeting Jeff, and we dated. It was right after he left the company.
Oh.
And he decided to do Red vs. Blue full time. So I helped out in the background, like with T-shirts and going to cons and lifting things and that way for a while, and then started the comic.
Oh, yeah. I remember in the journal post where you were talking about the ending the comics and leaving Rooster Teeth in general, you mentioned something like helping him stuff DVDs on your second date and things like that.
Well, it was definitely the focus of everything for a really long time. But
Yeah.
the nice thing now, I don't know, having my own thing, it's good because then, he's got his world, I have my world. And we cover a lot more ground that way.
I'd imagine so. And so we'll kind of deviate real quick and go straight on to The Fort, and we'll recap in a minute. After you got done with Rooster Teeth, decided to move on from there, you started The Fort over here in Austin. How did that come about?
It was sort of random. I mean, I was driving around the east side trying to figure out what to do next. And, I'd started chainsaw carving, but I wanted to do more, figure out like a place to settle in and start working. And so I was looking around and wasn't really sure if I wanted to jump into doing a space, like a public space, like a coffee shop or something more like, I don't know, like there serve people, or something that was a little bit more selfish and greedy like art. And I guess I kind of get stuck somewhere in between.
That's a good place to get stuck, quite frankly, because I mean it's good to be able to dodge back and forth between both. Sometimes you have to make enough money to survive, and sometimes you've got the free time to just make.
Well, I don't know. Things are always like evolving as I decide what works and what doesn't work. And the space too, I'm learning about more about what I can get away with there and what I can't, based on permitting and that kind of thing.
Right.
So, I mean, it's sort of an evolving process, and I really don't know what it's going to be in a year, but I'm proud of what it's becoming.
Of course. And I will say this, I've really enjoyed coming over there for a series of Fridays as soon as I moved here for the chainsaw carving. That's just so much fun to watch.
Well, thanks.
And you get to hang out, and you invite just anyone who wants to come over there, and you have various beverages and sometimes cupcakes. I remember there were A&W cupcakes and Big Red cupcakes at one point.
And they kind of taste all like sugars.
And
yeah, and actually the thing I'm excited about now is that I'm starting to invite guest artists in. So there'll be a variety too. So if you get tired of watching chainsaw carving, there'll be other things to see.
oh, really? Like who? Or like what, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, we are planning this. I don't know when this is happening, but hold on, my dog just walked in.
We were talking about like having people over for the chainsaw carving, and now you're having guest artists over there.
Well, yeah, I'm asking a lot of my friends, like people the stuff that I like to see and the people that I like being around.
Right.
And then I've kind of sort of putting a general call out through my friends and also the other renters at the fort. They're looking for their people, and I guess we'll see what turns up,
Nice.
But one show we're actually planning that we need to curate it. We need to find like a variety of people. Leslie and I, she's one of the new renters. We really want to do ghost stories on the back porch, and we have the chimenea now, and maybe get another fire pit and roast marshmallows.
Now that would be
I think
cool.
it'd be really fun.
Yeah, that really would, because there are definitely a lot of people in town who are good storytellers.
Yeah, for sure. And there's a lot of history here.
Yeah.
So it'd be kind of fun to do. We could do local, or we could sort of open it up and see maybe to just general stories, because that way it doesn't, I don't know, exclude a good one.
I mean,
just because it's not Texas.
It would be interesting to kind of have like open mic ghost stories. I've never really heard that done before, and I think that'd be kind of cool.
That's actually a good idea, and it might take some of the pressure off too, as long as we get the call out, and make sure we have a few good people around.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. A couple of ringers, couple of plants in the audience, that sort of thing.
You'd have to do it that way.
Yeah.
Or it could be a disaster.
But you know, when the time gets cold and things get dark, and it gets dark at like 5 o'clock for some ruddy reason.
Yeah, it's dark fast. Plus, I mean, I don't know, with the chimney and the smoke, like it feels like a campfire.
Yeah, and you really kind of have to switch gears a little bit. That backyard that you have back there is really wonderful for something like that, because a fire kind of the heat gets trapped in there. You know, the walls keep everything in.
Well, you have to have the fire. There's no heat at all.
Yeah.
The building, it's just a metal box.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
we're doing it for survival.
So going back over to the Rooster Teeth stuff, you're working on Immersion there for a long time as one of the co-hosts, and you did a lot of the prop making over there, and you made some fantastic things, from the Left 4 Dead door to the giant bullet bill. What were some of your favorites?
Well, I think the Left 4 Dead door was my favorite to work on. Partly because I didn't know how to do the welding at that point by myself, so I had to go track somebody down to help me. And I met this old guy that kind of works in the area near the RoosterTeeth offices that just like used to hang out at the what do you call it? Like the little auto shop / junkyard or whatever. It's near there. Mm-hmm. And he was a welder, and so I got to meet him. And he was this sort of hilarious personality. He worked out of this bus, so it was kind of a fun, I don't know, adventure.
Yeah. The
whole process of making it. And sometimes it's good. I mean, I like being able to do everything myself, but it is good sometimes to have to rely on other people, because you get to meet other people.
Well, I like taking on new projects that challenge me, you know, that require me to learn a new skill to be able to complete it.
Well, and if you have the opportunity to hire somebody, if you have a budget, then you can essentially get a free lesson.
Yeah, yeah, exactly so. And you end up leaving not only with your project finished much better than you would have otherwise, but now you have that knowledge for yourself. You've taught yourself how to fish.
Yeah, for sure. If you're any good.
Yeah. And I mean,
some things don't come so easily.
But it seems to all work out eventually, or at least good enough for camera, and that's the important thing.
What, editing, right?
Yes, exactly.
Just show people the stuff that turns out well.
Speaking of, what was your favorite episode that came out of that?
Out of Immersion?
Yeah.
I probably had the most fun on Horde mode, working on that with the watermelons and shooting the gun and going on location. And that was probably the most fun, though I did really enjoy working with Naga 64.
Of course.
On the sniper video, too, and with the sniper. So, I don't know. I mean, I enjoyed working on all, I mean, for the most part, there were some late nights, especially with the sewing portion. It's just annoying.
Right.
It's annoying to sew at like 3 in the morning. That's all.
Well,
I don't know if you've ever tried it, but if you want a real challenge.
At least you got the mannequin behind you to keep you company.
Oh, yeah. This is my junk room. Can you see? Right now, it's our spare bedroom.
Oh,
just
nice.
Full of piles of things. Weights, mics.
Yeah, no, it's the perfect place for weights, off in a back room where it rarely gets used. And I've got a pull-up bar that's got more cobwebs on it than I care to count.
You should hang something from it. Make it decorative.
Once maybe if I finally get around to decorating for Christmas, I'll do something like that. I just, who has the time?
You have to make the time, and it's worth it. I'm decorating. It's fun.
Fair play. Yeah. And
get some lights.
You mentioned you also worked over on the comics over there with Luke McKay, which was a major contribution. Well, it was definitely a time. I mean, it was a long time for me, like to do a creative project, and I'm happy I did it, because now I know I can stick with something for 5 years. I was about to say, they ran for 5 years? 5 years, 3 times a week. Wow. And I think we were late maybe twice. Wow. Like, not even that late, just a little bit late. Yeah. That's amazing. And they would chronicle stuff from things happening in the office to speculation to odd looking features. There's a lot of pop culture, I guess, and gaming culture, which is cool, but that also makes it a little bit hard to read now, because some of it is like maybe a little dated. Well, but the stuff about people, is timeless. Yeah. Or whatever. Yeah, absolutely so. And it provided a good early look into the behind the scenes stuff without like necessarily without helmets. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's true. But and so you started out, the first project that you made was the Gears of War logo gear. And that was kind of the big transition over. I think it was Marshall helped you edit that? Yes. Marshall, we kind of did a trade. He was working on a personal project, a short film, and he needed some help with the production design, and then I needed help making this video. So we kind of like did a trade. Nice. It was fun. I really liked working with Marshall. I'd like to do it again. Of course. And so is that gear still around? I sold it.
maybe 6 months ago or so.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, it lives with a nice woman now.
And that was...
She collects skulls, so.
Perfect match.
It's always interesting to see, I don't know, when your carving meets their match or whatever, you know?
Right.
I've started to take photos of people with their carvings just so I kind of remember who they went to. It's cool. And it's interesting, you know, what appeals to people sometimes.
That, I think I saw one of those pictures, the giant scorched man with the hole in his chest.
Mm-hmm. I sold that one too.
Yeah.
I'm happy because that one was big and now I've got room for something big again.
Oh, nice.
Because I've been doing a lot of little things lately and I want to do something larger.
And I know it's like, I hate, people hate being asked this question, and it's like choosing amongst your children, but what do you think is kind of your best carving so far?
I really love the Naga with the braid. She's supposed to like this body of a snake, the head of a woman, but the body of the snake is her braid, and it's braid within a braid. And it was a lot of Dremel work. I killed the Dremel on that one. I liked that one, but I think maybe the Day of the Dead Skull Bride or whatever is my favorite right now. She's got it's a skull. She has a heart in her mouth and diamonds for eyes.
Oh,
and
wow.
A crown of monarch butterflies and then a veil.
And I mean, how long does it take you to do something like that? I mean, they're amazingly intricate. That's the beautiful thing about them. They're kind of symbolically simple, and yet you really get in to look at them, and they are intricately detailed.
Thanks. I like doing the detail work.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, I think it'd be kind of an interesting challenge to just use a saw sometime. I have a friend who only uses a saw. He's the one that did the T-Rex everyone saw recently on Reddit.
Right.
If you remember the giant T-Rex, Scott Dow. So he only uses a chainsaw. And he can actually get an amazing amount of detail. So I kind of want to see how far I could actually get without using a Dremel. Plus, I just broke another one, so I don't have one.
I mean, those things just go so quick.
Well, I don't know. I probably... I don't know. I don't use things very gently. So.
I ran through a couple of them. I went to military college for a time, and one of the things that we had to do as part of our knob year, God, imagine me with my head shaved for an entire year. It was not cool. Was take your Dremel and take all your metallic implements that you would have to shine and just completely winnow them down to like millimeters thick, you know, and have them almost like a razor edge thin.
You had to do that?
Yeah. It was one of the orders from the superior officers, and if you disobey, you get kicked out of the school, and nobody want to get kicked out of the school because that's kind of a bad mark, you know, especially in somewhere as prestigious as like the school that rhymes with the Midadel in Charleston, South Carolina, whose name I probably can't legally say. And so, you know, you end up just having to do what you have to do to get by. And if that means testing your skills by only using a saw for a carving because you ran out of a Dremel, that's what it means.
Yeah. Well, it's not like, I mean, actually, the saw goes faster than anything. So it'd probably be just a good lesson in general.
Is there a project that you've wanted to try that you haven't gotten to yet?
Yes. And I kind of was pricing it out and talking with the company about doing it, but it's just going to be so expensive and time consuming. But I wanted to do like a stop motion project, like a big stop motion project, like large scale.
Oh yeah.
Video and art, but it's time consuming, so it may be a long time before I do that. But there's another project I want to do, and it might be easier because I'm starting to meet more people who know how to write grants, like a giant playscape. Because I've been doing playground design, but on like 2-dimensional, but I'd like to do something 3-dimensional, so it could be fun.
Interesting. And just like all the little mini carvings and everything that you need to make it out like a...
No, I didn't even know, like, and I don't know if it might be some wood, but it might be like, I don't know, a lot of rubber tires and things like that, like reused, found object.
Things. Giant playset, not mini playset.
Oh no, like people could climb on it.
Yeah.
It would have to be like, like a big playground. But I don't know, like, looking into that, I don't know. It could be a long time. Absolutely.
I mean, there's just as much artistic value that can go into those things as anything else, because you kind of have to make... As someone who grew up when playsets were just a thing that kind of were metal monkey bars over concrete, that I really get envious of the things that you see nowadays. Giant climbing walls with rubberized grips and...
Yeah, or like the ground that's soft and a rubber mat kind of.
Yeah.
That stuffed one. Mm-hmm.
They have that giant park, kid park over at Zilker that's just like got xylophones and all of these instruments in the middle of the park. And it's like, where was this? Where was this when I was growing up, and why wasn't I there?
Yeah, well, I don't know. It's good to learn how to rough it, right?
Yeah.
With your metal bars and your concrete.
Yeah, no, fair play. Fair play.
Plus, we wouldn't be allowed to touch the ground anyway. It was all hot lava for us. You can't drop.
Hot lava.
You didn't have hot lava?
Oh, God. Oh, yeah, no, I totally did. I know exactly what you mean. It was everywhere. And so you have a YouTube channel for the fort that
yeah, it's kind of just it's in hibernation at the moment.
Right, of course. And that's where the Gears video first showed up, as well as a couple of other things. We were having shows starting out over there. Is there plans to bring it out maybe at some point?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there have been plans the whole time. It's just we were talking about earlier, and I don't know if that was before or after we started recording. When you're doing it yourself, there's just a lot of things to do.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I'm like, okay, so I'm going to have this art space / venue, and I'm going to host all these things, and I'm going to make all of these things, and I'm also going to shoot videos and edit these videos. And it's really hard to do all of that at the same time and still be a decent mom and wife and still
and
have
person.
a brain and still be a relaxed, fuck off artist.
Absolutely.
So.
Right? Because that's where the creativity comes from. It doesn't come from a place of stress. From playing.
And if you get too stressed out, everything you do sucks. God. And even if it's great work, you hate it.
That's exactly right. That is exactly right.
Though I could probably maybe push myself a little bit better. But
Well, I mean, we all work. I work a little bit better under pressure, but still,
my boss is too nice.
Yeah. The best creativity just comes from a play place. You're exactly right. And if you don't have that kind of ability to and get in the right headspace, the things you come up with just don't feel as natural. They don't feel as fluid and fun.
Yeah. That's why I loved the comic, and I think it was a great way to prove to myself that I could hold on to something that long and work on it consistently and work in a collaboration that long, especially over a great distance. But
yeah, because Luke was not local.
No, and that was an interesting challenge. A lot of our meetings were just through AIM, and I don't know, it was fun.
God, AIM. Oh,
I don't know
man.
I don't think that I don't know that I'm going to jump in anything that long ever again, just because if you get to a point where you're stressed out, having to do something consistent, it is hard to play with it, It was good, but I think that I don't know. I would probably, if I were doing another comic again, it would be a short one.
Of course. Well, I mean, and the thing about something like that is you either eventually run out of material, or you get tired of doing not really the same jokes, but similar.
Yeah. No, I think that, and honestly, I think I like writing, but it doesn't come as natural for me as the art. So I think that
I mean, some of the most perennial comics, you look at Garfield nowadays, and you really wonder if Jim Davis should maybe have cut the rope about the time Bill Waterston did with Calvin and Hobbes. I mean, there is something to be said for telling your story and getting out.
Yeah, you're right. And if you have a short attention span too, because it depends on how you like to work. Some people like to do the lengthy things. I kind of like things I can get done quickly. Yeah. Typically.
There's a satisfaction in the accomplishment that you just don't get if you have a habitually running project that goes forever.
True, but it's also kind of nice to let something mature long enough to get known for something too. So I don't know, there's a balance there, because if you do a lot of one-offs, nothing may take root.
Right. Right.
So you kind of everything's a balance.
Of course.
And
but
we were talking about this a lot here because we watch a lot of British television with Gavin, and typically those shows don't go for as many seasons.
No.
Like The Office, ended season 2.
One of my favorites, The Smoking Room, has only 3 seasons.
Yeah, and so maybe there's something, as much as you want to have more, or the fans may want more or whatever, it's good to just be short and sweet and make your point.
I mean, look at Breaking Bad. It kind of left a few holes, but you know what? Vince Gilligan, sure, told exactly the story he wanted to tell and got out, and that was it. And now the show is a major hit that people are going to remember forever. And it did have the time to mature and get to a almost legendary status.
Yeah, I think that's it. You just have to know the length of your project.
Yeah, and you have to know your audience too. I mean, how often did you hear from the community when you were doing stuff?
A lot. Well, because it was all online, so people could comment immediately, and that's the nice thing about, I guess, working in the internet realm. You get immediate feedback.
Yeah. And I imagine not all of it gracious.
You know, that negative feedback doesn't bother me too much. You know,
no?
Like especially online. I'm sorry, can I help you?
Let's see here. We were talking about doing the comic and getting all that squared away and getting it finalized, and negative feedback from the community and how it didn't really bother you.
Yeah, as far as negative feedback goes, I mean, I don't like hearing stuff that's like, I don't know, just meant to be mean, I guess. But I mean, I think if you get used to reading comments, you get used to working like with YouTube or whatever. I mean, you just come to expect it. It's kind of a juvenile place, the internet. I don't know.
One of my favorite phrases to say to people who are like bothered by that is, what does a duck do when it's caught in the rain?
Does it quack? I don't know.
No, it doesn't do anything because a duck is waterproof.
It doesn't quack. Are you sure about that?
Well, if it does quack, it might not echo. It depends on where it is. But no, I mean, if you just get to a place where it doesn't bother you,
yeah,
and you
or you just like, I don't know, if you go into it expecting it to happen, you don't have to be so shocked and horrified. You don't have to react. Like, absolutely
so, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to change anything, and you can always try and just worm your way through there to find the constructiveness.
That is the tricky part with criticism, because if you are like, you know, if you do care about your work and you are sensitive, somebody can set you off, or they can make you second guess it. Like, I actually was talking to somebody I haven't talked to since I was in high school. It was somebody I talked to on Facebook recently, and he made a comment about not liking a certain type of thing that I was doing versus something else I was doing also.
Right.
And it made me think about it every time I started working on the stuff that he was like negative about. And I kind of appreciated the feedback because it was somebody that I haven't seen in so long and like doesn't have any connection to my life, so I feel like he's fairly objective.
Right.
But then also, who the fuck is he, right? So
yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And you kind of have to see it from his side, and then at the same time be able to just flippantly go, you don't really know what you're talking about here.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good to hear it and to take it under consideration, I guess, but don't like let it cripple you.
You got to make sure, am I really kind of weighting heavily towards things that people, the mass, might not want just to satisfy myself? Because there is such a,
why do you think I'm doing that? Is that what you're saying?
No, absolutely not. But I'm just saying there is such a thing as artistic masturbation, because I have totally been there.
You're right, and that's the hard line to walk too, because but it's weird because then it goes on the reverse, because I did this project, that series of paintings with Bondo called Haunted, and they looked like cameos. They were on like old wallpaper from some renovation projects that I was doing at the same time, and like digging through all these like years and years of wallpaper and like doing this assemblage piece with them. And
oh, that's cool.
All the people came out and all the faces were kind of like tormented, and like, it was a lot of like processing my own like world or whatever, because I was not feeling well at the time. And I've had them up for like a year, and I'm like, God, you know, why did I make these things? Like, they're just like me having a fit, and no one wants that on their wall. But then like this last, during East, hold on, I'm sorry. I was not prepared. During East, people bought them, and I was surprised because like the stuff I thought, like the happy, cheery stuff I made, thinking that they would be the selling things, was the torture stuff that went. So you never know what people are going to buy. Like, who knows?
Fair play. I mean, you never know when someone's going to connect to it and be like, oh no, it's not sorrow. It's actually that disdainful growth back towards good again. You know, that slow trudge back to the top.
Or they're just, I don't know. People are weird. Like, you know.
Yeah. No. I mean, and that's an interesting point too, in that the intentions of the artist, once it leaves the artist, that's as far as your involvement goes.
But it's kind of fun because then, like, that's why I'm having these photos, like taking the picture of the person that connects with it, because it's like, well, that's weird. Whatever I was feeling that day, that person randomly connects with, and now likes it enough to pay for it and put it in their house somewhere,
and connects with it for their own reasons that might not even be anywhere near related to yours.
But I think that's cool. Like, it doesn't bother me, that kind of thing. I don't know. Let them associate.
I think it's very cool. I think it's really very cool. And it speaks a lot to the human condition as a whole, in that it really doesn't matter kind of
what you do.
Yeah. Somebody is going to interpret it as what they want, and they're going to put their own value on it.
That's true. Yeah. And it's hard to know how people are going to react until you do it, I guess.
That speaks again to that balance between what you do just for you and what do you do for everyone else.
For sure. And then what are you trying to make anyway? Are you trying to make something decorative or?
And then are you trying to make money?
Yeah.
The perennial question.
No, but that's part of what's tricky about the fort too. It's like, what direction do you go, and you can kind of do anything.
Of course.
And then, so it's been sort of a learning process. What I can get away with, and what I can do there, and also what do I even feel like doing?
Like what?
The venue thing. Well, with the venue stuff and having bands, it was awesome. Like there's this party going, and there's this energy, and there's music. But then I was, I was cleaning up a lot of beer bottles and like cleaning up puke and bath toilets and like doing things that like I didn't want to be doing as a job, The
janitorial work that goes with throwing a party.
Yeah, like I had liked doing it and having that there, but it was not what I wanted to be doing ultimately.
Of course.
I don't know. That's like kind of changed. Just it's interesting to see what you are willing to put up with, and like because people don't see the behind the scenes of what you're making, like an event or a painting. I mean, there's usually a lot of mess involved in creation.
Oh yeah.
It's not that glamorous.
No, I was lucky enough to work on RTX this last year. You're exactly right. The cleanup from that stuff is no joke.
Yeah.
And then same thing for Austin Comic-Con this last weekend. No joke. I mean, inch thick piles of trash. People are gross.
They're disgusting.
People are gross.
Yeah, and when they know that they can leave and they don't have to clean up, they're
right.
Mm-hmm.
When oh god, I can only imagine. Yeah, but that's like we were talking about before we started recording. When you are the person that's in charge of your project, you are ultimately responsible for all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and you're the one up at 3 in the morning doing the cleanup.
Yep, precisely so. You're the one who's scrambling 30 minutes before the show to get this cleaned off and the hat arranged, because let me tell you something. That scarf has been used a lot recently. So I had to get everything. Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean.
Oh,
on a
are you saying
smaller
you
scale.
did some set dressing in your place?
A bit. A bit. Well, I mean, look, I'm a guy, okay? This room is normally not this clean, I promise.
Yeah. Okay.
But, when you put stuff out there, especially when you have a guest over, you have to make sure that the place looks nice.
No, I agree with you. I didn't do that this time, but I normally would have.
I
just got a little behind.
Well, I mean, I'm sure that the rest of the place looks awesome. I saw the picture you posted or I think it was Gavin posted on Twitter of everybody decorating.
Yeah, it's last year we were out of this house during Christmas, and we were in a rental because we've been renovating. So it's the first Christmas we've had back in a little while. So I'm having a lot of fun just seeing how it all looks now because it's very different.
Yeah. Are you the gathering throwing type?
The gathering throwing? No, I'm very like meticulous and anal.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't know. I like having people over too, but I like being able to. I like having them over to my place so that I can tell everyone to leave and then I don't have to go anywhere.
Yeah, no, that's nice. Except you end up doing a lot of work cleaning, and then you do work cleaning after.
Of course.
So sometimes it's nice to go, and then you can also decide when the party ends for you. You don't have to wait for people to leave at 5 in the morning and then try to get them out of your house.
Yeah. You're damn right about that. Especially around this time of year with the holidays and stuff, everybody's like, oh, we're having a gathering this weekend. Oh, we're going to meet up and have a party at this person's place. Oh, we're going to... It's like, do we have to? Can't we just...
Are you complaining because you have too many friends? I'm so sorry. It's so hard to be you. You poor guy.
You wound me greatly. Yeah, no, I mean, it's tough being popular. You know the curse.
I don't go that often. The thing is, you just have to have a kid. People stop inviting you.
Ah, gotcha. And so she's actually been involved over at Rooster Teeth, if you don't mind me asking.
Yeah, she sent some like Achievement Hunter stuff, and she was in some shorts, or at least one.
It's very cool that you allow her to be involved in all that sort of stuff. I imagine she enjoys it.
Yeah, she loves it. I mean, I think she's really a natural when it comes to performing. She's always trying to make people laugh.
Oh yeah. Oh, very proud mom. It's always nice to see the artistic gene get passed down. My dad, for example, was a very great artist and drawer and has always been really good at communicating with people. And then when I started doing similar avenues, you could just see this twinkle come back in his eye and the beams come in and smile. It's great.
Well, it's good that he was supportive. Not everyone has parents that support their creative pursuits.
Yeah, you're exactly right about that. Were yours?
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, my dad always thought I should try to be an engineer because he thought I would make money, but I didn't. I mean, actually, it's funny. I think that I'm a lot more interested in now that I'm getting older. Like, I'm more interested in history, too.
But, I mean, there's a lot of engineering that goes into constructing those play sets.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think that there's definitely a benefit to it. I've just never been very good at math, so just didn't seem like an avenue I'd be going down. But other than that, he was an artist, but he didn't like to say he was an artist, and he didn't think you could make money as an artist. So he didn't encourage it in that sense, but doing the art was encouraged.
Of course. I was lucky enough. Yeah, not only were my parents supportive, but I went to a magnet school that was the same curriculum from like kindergarten to 8th grade, and it started out kindergarten music was Beethoven and Mozart. Kindergarten art was drawing a straight line and circles and stuff like that. And by the time you get up to 8th grade, it's like 8th grade art was learning architecture by Lloyd Wright and all those people, and music was ragtime and contemporary stuff, having learned all this appreciation beforehand. So I had a really artistic background growing up.
Mine was not like that. I grew up kind of in redneck Oregon.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I think that, I mean, you can, if you're creative, you're going to make something with something regardless. But it probably does help to have a little bit of classical training.
I mean, it's just a good knowledge base to pull from, because you never know what experience is going to be relevant later on. You never know when that welding that you learned is going to come up later on in a project where you're chainsaw carving something and you go, it'd be really cool to have like a metal bone going through this guy's nose.
I'm excited about welding. I just finished the last class today.
Oh, really?
And I want to do the next one, but I'm going to be out of town for the Ridgeway Rendezvous, which is a big carver festival. So that's going to be kind of a big trip. So I don't want to take it and have to skip, like, miss a bunch of classes.
Gotcha.
I don't know. I might wait until the summer if they do it then. But I really like their facility. And it'd be cool to learn. I think blacksmithing would be fun, too.
And what would you, I mean, do you have any, I know you probably have a few ideas tweaking away of something you could use that for.
Well, I have an idea for what I want to do with welding, but I've got a project in mind.
Nice.
And just in general, like you said, to help with the chainsaw carving, like mainly for like building furniture and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, you never, like you said, you don't know when you're going to use it for, but it's good to be able to use every kind of material if you can.
So, what are you trying to build upon there at the fort? What's coming up next? Do you have any kind of foreseeing of what's coming up the next year?
Just live art happy hour. It's our monthly event where we do live art, and there's going to be multiple artists, and usually an alcohol provided by a sponsor. And I'm going to try to get maybe some non-alcohol too, so I can encourage families and like more than just, you know, people that want to get drunk after work.
Right.
Like maybe a mix of things. But we'll see. I mean, we'll see how it goes. It's sort of organic.
Of course.
The process.
And are you going to, I think it'd be really fun to do maybe, I don't know, I know it'd be very logistically difficult, but like to do the parties again and all that stuff. I would really love to see that place grow into quite the attraction for this town, because A, I think you deserve the success, and B, it'd be a hell of a lot of fun and give me a nice place to go to.
Yeah, I like the place a lot, thank you. And I had a sort of a private party with a friend who had just come into town from New York. He's a playwright, and he wanted to meet with all of the actors and designers and stuff he'd worked on projects before, all kind of as a group. So we had a thing over there the other night, and it was so cold. It was like 30 degrees. And so we did the chimenea, and we were all like cuddled around the space heaters inside. And I'm really like, I was just really proud of the place. Like, it doesn't have heat really, or like, and it's really hot in the summertime.
Yeah.
It's like a metal box. It might be worse inside than outside. But I've just put a lot of work into it, and it was this just empty metal box when I got it, and now it's just like sort of rainbowy.
Listen,
like,
an art studio isn't supposed to be comfortable. It's supposed to contain art.
I think that it would be nice if it were more comfortable. Because I find a lot of reasons not to go to work if I'm not comfortable. So, I mean, I like to work at my house too, so sometimes I'm at home lately.
Well, we'll say this. It's definitely taken some leaps and bounds since I saw it back in like 2012. Coming for RTX that year, you had a carving during that event and invited people over. And just seeing the difference 1 year can make, I can only imagine what it's going to be like July next year.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. And I know that everyone's going to want to see it too. So as we kind of wind ourselves down here, I always enjoyed the Inside the Actor Studios method of ending on a questionnaire. So I too have a reappropriated version of the Proust questionnaire, and it goes a little something like this. Griffin, what's your favorite word?
My favorite word? Oh man, how long do I have? Because this could take a while.
Oh, we've got probably another.
I'm really not prepared for this.
Another 15, 20 minutes?
Okay, good. Oh, man. I don't know that I have a favorite word. Jeff has one. Do you want to hear his?
Yeah, absolutely.
His is bracket. Not just because he likes the sound.
Oh, yeah, I can see it. I like consonants. Consonants have a very nice roundness to them. And I think there's a theory about comedy that says the more consonants a word has, the funnier it has the potential to be. Like, whale isn't funny, but sperm whale, that's funny.
Yeah, but only because of sperm.
Exactly. Because of the consonant. Because of the...
How do you think it's the consonant that makes it funny? That's what it is.
Yeah, in my brain anyway.
I'm sorry, I really don't have a favorite word. I don't like to limit myself like that, Tim.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, in that case, I won't ask about a least favorite word because I imagine you don't want to limit yourself to it.
What kind of questions are these, really? Like, do people have great answers ever?
Well, I mean, generally speaking, the purpose of these questions isn't necessarily so much about the answers. It's about the way the person thinks about them.
Oh, God.
It's determining more about your personality as the way you think and the way you react to things than the answers matter themselves. So when I ask for your least favorite word and you say, well, I don't want to necessarily limit myself to anything, that means that you're one of those people who are more open to interpretation and whatever you need to use at the time.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
And so you can get just as much value out of not having an answer as having a definitive one.
Okay.
Do you know what your superpower would be if you could pick?
Oh, yeah. Well, I can tell you what I'd want it to be. I don't know what I'd end up having because I'm not sure that you can always pick if it's like a spider bite. I would like to teleport. I think that would be cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that I like the Nightcrawler kind of poofy as you do it. I think it'd be cool to have like a nice effect when you go, or maybe like a comic balloon comes up that says "Bam."
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. I don't know though. It would maybe be better to be stealthy depending on what you wanted to do.
What about your super weakness?
My super weakness?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I can tell you what my real super weakness is. I hate being left out. And I think that would probably, if it were a super weakness, it would probably kill me.
Yeah.
Like somebody would just forget to invite me to a party and I might wither up and die.
The Justice League has a surprise party and they forget to invite the person of honor.
Yeah, that would be the end of me.
What sound or noise do you love?
What sound of noise?
What sound or noise do you love?
Oh. I like the sound of Millie's voice. She has this like musical voice. Mm-hmm. I don't know. And yeah, I don't know. That one's good. And she's pretty noisy. Just the sound of family in the background, I guess, is a good noise.
And what noise do you hate?
I hate the sound of a knife slipping on a plate.
Oh.
And I hate the sound, like I can't sharpen knives at all. Like I have to get Jeff to do it. And that's why I don't do whittling at all, because I'd have to sharpen too much.
Right.
Like I just hate that.
Or like teeth scraping a fork.
Yeah, like any kind of that gritty. No.
Yeah, no, your shoulder shrug and that. Right, yeah, that was perfect reaction.
Yeah, because you can hear it in your head when you think about it. That's the kind of power it has.
I too have sympathetic pain when somebody talks about like I had a friend tell me about how he chips his tooth one time and just after just telling the story.
And then it has the edge.
Yeah.
And it stings when you put your tongue on it.
So moving on. What turns you on creatively, spiritually?
Oh, creatively.
Yeah.
Spiritually, creatively. Spiritually, coincidences. Mm-hmm. I don't know, like, or.
Are you in on Bernie and Gavin's "We're all in a coma" joke?
I don't know what that is.
Not important.
But no, like, I love that feeling when you kind of take a leap of faith, or you step out without anything under you, and like things kind of just meet you.
Yeah. Like
that feel, that's like a type of spirituality to me, I guess, like manifestations, like putting out and positive energy and hoping for the best, just jumping.
And then it happens to work.
Having it work.
It's a beautiful thing. My sister accused me one too many times of being able to jump out of a frying pan and into a bed of roses.
Yeah. You just have to have the magic.
Yeah. And you have to be able to make the most out of anything. I mean,
that's it too. You have to be resourceful and you have to have your eyes open.
Yeah. Just because an opportunity presents itself doesn't mean you're going to be aware enough to take it. It's
true. Or that if just because it's there, you still have to do something about it.
Yeah. One of those 5th grade platitude posters that goes up told me luck is preparation meets opportunity. And I took that to heart. I've taken my entire life to learn every skill that I can to get my hands on, because you never know what opportunity is going to present itself that I need to use it for.
It's true. So you're an opportunist.
Kind of, sort of, yeah. And a seeking one. I mean, not just one who takes the ones who come. I actively go out and find the people that I want to talk to and make a relationship with them and get to a point where I can say, hey, would you like to be on my show? And they go, sure, it'd be a lot of fun.
Cool.
And
well, I was supposed to be doing a networking thing tonight, but I blew it off to be on your show.
You're gonna make me blush. So what heroine do you identify with the most?
Oh,
or hero, no judgments.
Who's my hero? Are we talking superheroes still, or are
no,
we like?
No, absolutely not.
Man. I don't know. I like characters that aren't strong, like, but that are they're braver than they're built for.
Right.
I like all of the ones in history too. You know, like, and this is gonna sound so corny saying it, but like Mother Jones and like this little lady who like took on all the bosses. And all the cops and
steps into a situation that they shouldn't otherwise be able to handle.
Or that maybe they can't, but they're just brave enough, and it's just that amount of bravery and power that like protects them. I don't know. I like that.
No, I completely understand. Yeah. I like that. I like that a lot. What about a villain or villainess?
My favorite, as in I like the villain. Okay. Oh, this should be easier, right?
None of these questions are easy. If you do them right, anyway.
Favorite villain. Or the ones that you love to hate. Like, but that's the problem with like now. I mean, I don't know if you watch True Blood.
Yeah.
I was thinking of Eric Northman. But you know what? All of the problem with scary stories now is that every villain is so sympathetic, and there's like so much blurring between good and bad, and like
hero and anti-hero, villain and anti-villain.
I like it, but it's it's hard to then break things up in your mind, like who's actually on the side. Yeah,
a good classification.
I like the trend of mixing the two.
Fair enough.
And bad.
I can totally see that.
That's why Superman's the most boring, except I did like Man of Steel. But because he's all good, you know, like you want somebody who's a little more conflicted like Batman or whatever.
I mean, there's something to be said for the interestingness of watching someone who's chaotically neutral. You know?
Yeah, chaotic neutral is the best way to be.
I mean for people who just do...
So you're an opportunist who's chaotic neutral. That's what I'm getting from you.
Well...
Just do whatever is good for Tim.
I did take one of those young personality tests a while ago, and I ended up being ENTJ, I believe, which was the field marshal. The leader type, the one who does step in when no one else wants to take over.
You know how to sharpen knives really well, right?
Yes.
So sort of your role.
Yes. It's a heck of a lot of fun to me to be the person that is the hero that steps in and is like, no, I've got this. I know how to take care of the situation when everything seems bleak.
Yeah, but there's a downside to doing that. Like, what if you're wrong? Like, did you see? This is not, we're talking about movies and stuff. The Heat.
It's been a while since I've seen The Heat.
The scene with the tracheotomy or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
She's such a know-it-all. She thinks she knows everything, and because she's seen it on television how to do a tracheotomy, she tries to do it on somebody. Like, that's what I feel about people who are heroic. Yeah. Like, sometimes they just think they know best, and they don't always know best.
No, you're absolutely right. And so you kind of have to know your place a little bit better than most people. And, you know, those are lessons that you learn through time. And I've stepped up and been smacked down many a time. And so you kind of have to be able to recognize a situation that's over your head.
Yeah.
And I'm very capable of saying, no, I don't know how to do this. I'm going to ask help from someone who does. But I'll tell you this, when I get done with this situation, I'm going to know how to do it.
Yeah.
And I won't have to.
That's the way to be.
Yeah. That, quite frankly, it's helped me very slowly not only build a giant network of friends that I've learned from
we keep hearing about all your friends, Tim.
All my friends that I haven't mentioned by name, you'll notice.
Just yeah, all these friends.
Exactly. And all these people that are smarter than me in all of these different areas, you know. I have a friend of mine who taught me, my best friend Gary taught me how to make this little lighting rig setup that's basically a white piece of poster board that's tilted away from the wall with a light on it that bounces into my face, that keeps the blue from washing me out. you know, and it's little tricks like that that you learn from all of the people you meet along the way that you are sort of able to conglomerate together to make.
That's why it's good to be around good people.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And not waste your time.
Absolutely. So speaking of stuff like that, what advice would you give to your 13-year-old self?
I would probably try to just, I would want to pass down some confidence, you know, because I think at that age, of so many people, and even the people that I always thought had it all together, to meeting them later, talking to them later, like they were very different inwardly than they've seen on the outside.
Oh yeah.
You know, so I think I would probably just want my 13-year-old self to like have some more confidence and, I don't know, not worry so much about what other people were thinking or what other people might be doing or where I fell in line, you know. And I guess I probably would still, I'm sure, like, could probably still work on that, you know. It's hard not to look around and compare yourself to other people.
I mean, how much do we really change from what we are?
I don't know. Yeah, you like to think you've changed a lot, but there's probably some things that are still, like, always true.
Yeah. I mean, I'm always going to be one of those people who will never hang his toes from the edge of the bed because that monster's going to get him. I'm gonna wake up.
That might save your life someday.
Yeah.
Don't change. You'll be happy for that person.
What other talent, other than the ones you've obviously been gifted with, would you like to have?
I would love to be able to play an instrument.
Yeah.
I like to sing, but I wish I had something to like. Sorry, we could just. I'd want to be my own backup. I don't know.
I know. Have you ever seen the self-accompaniment videos where it has like the 9 different screens or whatever? A Smooth McGroove is a great one to look up if you have never heard of him. They do like the a cappella versions of various songs, and like each separate screen is one line of the song or whatever, you know. So on one track he's doing the baritone line, on the second track he's doing the tenor line, on the, you know, so on, and then doing the instruments and all that stuff. And by the time you line them all up, he's done Storm Eagle from Mega Man X, and it's like, this is amazing.
Yeah, that's cool.
And it's all vocal stuff. It's all a cappella. Or there are people who do instruments, instrumental versions that make up whole symphonies by themselves. And it's like,
yeah, that's cool.
How?
Time. That's what it is. A lot of time.
Fair play. Not only do they know all of that stuff, but then they know the video editing required to put it all together. I'm like, I'm just trying my best here, man. You're making me look bad. Oh, well. What are you going to do? So, what is your favorite curse word?
My favorite curse word? I don't know, it changes. I used to say cunt a lot, but I'm kind of feeling less, I don't know, I've been feeling less extreme as I get older. And I don't think I'd want Millie walking around saying cunt.
Right.
So, I don't mind if she says shit.
So you're a pretty loose parent then, as far as like the words go.
Not only that, but I think the funniest thing, I've been trying to get Millie to drink coffee and say shit more, because I think the funniest thing in the world is like a little kid, like not little, but like kids who drink coffee and say like cuss a lot. Yeah. I think it's really adorable.
Tiny adults.
But the only problem with the swearing thing is that like knowing when to do it. And even as an adult, sometimes it's hard to get out of the habit. Like we were meeting with like a financial planner together, Jeff and I, recently, and we sat down and I said fucking something, and he just looked at me horrified, and I'm not even aware that I'm doing it.
Yeah.
So,
I know what you mean. It's really hard sometimes to get those words out of your lexicon, and especially, like I said, I went to military school, so I mean, hell, cussing was just a part of the language. It's just a way you convey feelings more accurately than physical words will allow.
I think that that's definitely true, and that's why I wouldn't mind if Millie did cuss, you know, because certain things you need a cuss word for.
Yeah.
But, like, in general, I think our vocabularies are getting worse and worse and worse, and just, like, more abbreviated, and, like...
I will say this. It is becoming a trick to be able to enunciate the way you feel without resorting to those words.
Yeah.
And it's becoming more of a commodity. People are sorry. Yeah, exactly.
No, I was not just making fun of you.
Yeah.
Nothing. I wasn't being mean.
No. You're exactly. Yeah. I was stuttering because I couldn't find the word quick enough.
No, I have hard time finding words, and I've spent a lot of time alone too, so that's part of it. Like you get out of practice being social, and I'm by myself most of the time. So.
I was like that as well. I've always more enjoyed watching people.
Yeah.
And being able to observe the way that they're acting and kind of being able to figure out motivations from the side as opposed to ever engaging person to person.
Yeah, but I don't know. People change depending on who they are in front of too.
Yeah.
So you can watch and see how they interact with other people, but you don't know how they're going to react with you until you do something.
So where would you one day like to live?
Well, we stayed in Scotland for like a week or so with Gavin one time, and we keep joking about trying to get that same apartment and move back there for a while. And I could definitely spend some more time in Scotland. I think it's beautiful. So I wouldn't mind going back there, and anywhere with trees. Like, we might start moving away a little bit in the summers anyway, just because it's so fucking hot and I can't work, and I have to work outside. So we went to Oregon for a month this last summer, and it's beautiful.
I'll bet. I'll bet it absolutely. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember. Yeah, that's right. You are.
I'm not from Portland. I'm in the middle of nowhere, but that's where we stayed.
Right.
So
wait, is Portland kind of like Austin in that it's a liberal island in the middle of this red ocean?
It's not a red ocean.
No.
It's 50-50, very liberal, very conservative.
Okay.
And there are some places in Eastern Oregon that are way scarier to me than like small redneck towns in Texas. You know, like there's some real extreme towns in Oregon.
Really?
But there's some real extreme, like there's a lot of very, very highly educated, but also not a lot of jobs either. So like I have some friends that have like master's degrees and have trouble finding jobs, you know. So I don't know. If you put that much time into an education, you should be able to get work.
Right? Without having to make something in your bedroom. I mean, I'm kind of in that same boat. Yeah, it's really tough out there. And
I mean, it's not just Oregon, but I mean, there's a lot of areas where it's just like very, very, I don't know, like, I can't think of the words that sound nice when it's not yuppie, but you know, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no,
like,
a very higher end kind of.
Yeah, but like liberally, and going to farmers markets.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember before I decided to move here, I was talking to you about it, and you mentioned that this place is very much like a velvet ditch.
Oh yes, I've heard that described. I've heard Austin described as the velvet ditch. Because it's easy to live and it's relaxed. But this may be changing because the city is getting like, I mean, you have to make reservations to have dinner here now, like all over, like, or you have a really hard time getting into a place that's decent.
Wow.
So it's changing. It's becoming a little bit like snootier. But before, it was a really comfortable place to live. But then there weren't a lot of big things to join, big companies to like climb ladders in.
I will say this: it'll be nice to have a media hub between New York and LA for I'd imagine. So I can. I mean,
everyone wants to be here. I mean, I think it's definitely a place where people really want to be.
Yeah.
It's crowded. There's events constantly. Like there's always traffic now.
I mean, look at the magic that the Alamo has done for this town, just as far as bringing in the movie business. Not to mention every other expansion of business around here. I mean,
it's a good place for entrepreneurs for sure.
It kind of really is, if you're into that sort of thing. So last question here, if you had a choice, how long would it take you to respawn after you died?
Well, I guess it would depend. Wait, what do you mean? That doesn't make sense to me.
It's a video game terminology. How long would it take you to come back
No,
from
I
the
understand
bed?
what you're saying. You mean like, do I want to wait to see what the extreme future is like?
Yeah, I mean, do you want to come back immediately? Are you kind of satisfied with?
Times?
Do you want to rest when you die? Do you want to? I mean, to some people, it's not so much of an immediate question, immediate answer. I've had.
Do I get to respawn a lot, like over and over again?
If that's what you want.
If you're going to ask me these questions, you have to have these answers.
No,
so
you're absolutely right. I'll be glad to make up these answers on the fly.
Well, you're giving me these questions on the fly.
But yeah, no, the rules are what you want them to be.
Well, I don't know. I don't want to be dead. I would definitely come back again and again. And I don't know. Yeah. Do you believe in reincarnation? Do you think we will? Do you think it's fun?
I think I don't know enough to make any sort of decision on all that stuff. I consider
so you're
myself
a lazy agnostic.
Yes, exactly. I am a lazy agnostic who will not choose either side because I'll be on the winning side. I just don't know which one it is yet.
What if there's no winning side for you because you never picked a side?
I know. Well, I always have to deal with the fact, what if I'm wrong? I have yet to do so.
Yeah. What if you're sitting on a spiritual bench though and you just never play?
Yeah, no, fair play. I was raised Episcopalian actually, and so I am very familiar with the tenets, and I've always felt like as long as I am as good of a person as I possibly can, it doesn't really matter exactly if I declare out loud I believe in Jesus Christ. as long as I'm a good person, that should be good enough. And if it's not, I don't know that I want to get in that heaven to begin with.
Yeah, well, good luck.
And on that somber note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much, Griffon, for coming on the show. You have been a fantastic guest.
Thanks.
How can people contact you? Plug away.
Oh, yeah, I have a Facebook page, and you can just go to griffonramsey.com.
Mm-hmm.
That'll go to the Facebook until I get an actual website, which is hopefully soon.
Right.
And then there's Twitter and Instagram, and then I have an email account, and it's on all of those things. So just, I don't know, you can just Google me. Whatever.
Going ahead and Google it, y'all.
Facebook's the easiest.
Oh, yeah. And so my name is Tim Leftwich. You've been watching this on youtube.com/Tim Leftwich. You can find the audio version of this episode as well as all of the other ones now on soundcloud.com/Tim Leftwich. As always, we'll see you next time.
Bye.
I just come to see how you do.
Do you want to come in? Sorry, I blocked the door.
I said hi.
Hi. Jeff says hi. Hold on.
Oh, hi.